We'll see some more examples of this ablative of time when, but that's the first. It's the first time he's showing it to you. So note that, mark that, and we'll talk about it more next week. What's the second interesting thing there? The second interesting thing there is erat. Erat. Was. And this is the first time we're seeing a verb tense in Orberg other than the present tense. And it's sort of a foreshadowing of things to come in the next semester, where we'll learn all of the tenses of the verb. Erat is, if we put this up here, we have est and sunt, third person singular, third person plural, present tense, indicative mood. And then the imperfect tense, erat and errant. As in Latin we call that the tempus imperfectum, the imperfect tense. What does that mean? It means that the person who's using that verb understands the action as ongoing in past time. And how we're going to use it really just depends on how we're thinking about the thing. Do we conceive of the thing we're talking about as a point-like occurrence? In which case we're going to use the perfect tense. We haven't learned about the perfect tense yet, but we think of it as just over and done. Or if we think about it as happening over an extended period of time, then we're going to use the imperfect tense. And so here, in olden time, it was the first month. We're thinking about this just for a long period of time. It went on and on and on like that. It was the first month. We'll talk more about the tenses later. Don't worry too much about this. We just see that, know how to translate it, and we'll deal with it more next semester as tenses of the verb. Tunc September mensis septimus erat. Then September month was the 7th. October, November, December, menses octavus, nonus, decimus erant. October, November, December were, there's the erant, the imperfect, third person plural, were the 8th, 9th, and 10th months. So you can see how you get those names for the months. Nunc autem mensis primus est Januarius. So notice the contrast between the tunc and the nunc. Tunc, then, at that time. Notice how he tells you in the margin. Tunc is like saying illo tempore, ablative of time when. At that time, in that time. Nunc, in this time, at this present moment. Nunc and jam are very similar. Jam, as I think I've mentioned this week, often has the meaning of already, now, and nunc is consistently now. Now, however, mensis primus est Januarius. The first month is January. September igitur mensis nonus. September, therefore, is the 9th month. October decimus, November undecimus, December duodecimus. October the 10th, November the 11th, December, the 12th month. Quam longus, line 25. Quam longus est mensis November. How long is November month? Again, in English we'd say the month of November, but just so you're seeing what's happening in the Latin there. November is an adjective, agreeing with mensis. How long is November month? November 30 dies longus est. More accusative of duration. November is long to the extent of 30 days. 30 dies. Dies, again, there being the accusative plural. December unum et 30 dies habet. December has 130 days. Dies, again, accusative plural. 130 days. Well, that's kind of, for us, that sounds, right, sort of these old school expressions of time, 1:30, that sort of thing. This is one way they had of expressing the numbers 1:30, or there's just fine to say 30 unum, just as we do, 31. We don't say anymore 1:30. We understand what that means, and they had both. December has 1:30 days, that is 31 days. Januarius tam longus est quam December. January, understand month, is as long as December. Sed Februarius brevior est. Brevior. There's the comparative degree of the adjective, brevior, but February is shorter. So, in the last chapter, right, we saw brevis in the sense of like the length of the sword, right? Spatial idea. And then here it's also a temporal idea, shorter in terms of time. But February is shorter. Duo de triginta aut unde triginta dies tantum habet. Habet. It has 2 from 30, duo de triginta, or 1 from 30, unde triginta dies tantum. It only has, tantum habet, it only has 28 or 29 days. So Orberg is showing you, I think I've mentioned this in class before, that the Romans say 24, 25, 26, 27, 2 from 30, 1 from 30, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 2 from 40, 1 from 40. Februarius brevior est quam ceteri undecim menses. February is shorter than the other, right, ceteri, the remainder of the group, than the other 11 months. Is mensis anni brevissimus est. It is the shortest month of the year. Anni there, genitive singular. Mensis, nominative singular. Is, nominative singular. Brevissimus, the superlative degree of the adjective. So I think it's pretty easy to put together. You'll note on page 101, right, he doesn't even give you a chart of this. The endings, we just stick on that issimus to the stem of the adjective, and as for the endings, right, it's just first, second declension type endings. So if we have a noun, if we have an adjective like longus, that's the positive degree of the adjective. And then the comparative degree sorry to write that small, I'm trying to get all in there. The comparative degree of the adjective we learned about in chapter 12. Longior, longius, and all the endings that go along with that, right? And then the superlative degree, superlativus. Longissimus aum. So we've got a stem here, right? And it's that issimus ending that we're sticking on there.